What is up everybody, Fanfar here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to improve an arena. Now I know most of my videos are generally about Ret Paladin, being that I play Ret Paladin, it's my main, but this one should be able to help you no matter what you play. I'll probably still use Ret Paladin as an example a lot of the time, but it should still be helpful. I'm going to be dividing it into 6 parts. The first part is going to be learning your class. Second is going to be key binding, then rotation, cooldown management, learning what other classes do, and positioning. So I'll probably leave a link in the description linking to each part so that it's just easier to navigate if you don't want to watch certain parts. So yeah, getting right in, learning your class. So obviously before you want to play arena, you're going to want to learn what your class does. Now this is in a general term and a more in-depth term. So generally, say let's have Ret Paladin. I am a good DPS class with low mobility, but I can get my healer out of stuns and I have really good off healing. So that's just the general idea of it. But then there's smaller niche things about my class. So look for Wakes of Ashes. Every 30 seconds, it's an ability that gives me 5 holy power and does pretty good damage. But on top of that, it also stuns all demons and undead that get hit by it. So this can be really good against things like unholy DKs or demo locks. So for an example, your entire team is stacked and a demo lock drops spell lore on you. So to give your team an opportunity to get away from it, you use Wakes of Ashes, stuns the Fel Lord for 6 seconds, lets you get away from it. So just knowing these small things can really help you win games. So like for that Fel Lord one, that is going to completely rot your entire team. It does crazy damage. So giving it an opportunity to get away from it is really helpful. Just knowing what all these abilities do is really helpful. So I'd say just go through all of them, read them, make sure you know everything that they do, then also go through all your talents and PvP talents as well. Next up, keybinds. Now keybinds are a weird one. So for keybinds, obviously people have stuff that works for them and they don't work for other people. I have really weird keybinds that are completely based on my mouse, like the buttons on my mouse. Most people are based around the keyboard and then have like kick 1, 2, 3 on their mouse or something like that. But this works for me. It doesn't work for all other people, but it works for me. So pretty much, I do not recommend copying someone else's keybinds because it's probably not going to work for you and it's really annoying to readjust to. Just do whatever you're used to using, but then just like add stuff to it. Like you have, say, most of your abilities like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your keyboard. So then you can add things like Shift 1 or Shift 2 or T, G, all that stuff. Just stick with whatever you have originally and what you're used to, and then just add on top of that. You can change certain small things, but don't do like big, massive, drastic changes all at once. It's easier to just adjust to one thing at a time. Next up, pretty much just learn your rotation. This is healing, DPS, whatever. Knowing exactly which abilities to use, like damage abilities to use, and when. You're gonna want to know this by heart, so you can just mindlessly go through your damage rotation, do just as good damage as you would normally, but still being able to pay attention to everything around you. Because if the more you know your damage rotation, the better awareness you have for other things, because you don't have to pay attention to what you're doing. Obviously, it's good to have like at least somewhat of a like looking at it somewhat, because most classes have procs and things like that they have to manage, but generally just memorize your rotation so that you can just do it without thinking about it. It's really helpful so that you can improve your awareness and be able to notice what other people do in the game. Next up is knowing when to use your abilities. So now that you know what all your abilities do and what to do for them, that doesn't mean you exactly know when to use your abilities. So against certain matchups, you're going to want to use your abilities at certain times. even though you can use them at another time. For an example, you're playing against a Windwalker monk and you're a rep paladin. They fist your healer, but they still have leg sweep, or leg sweep's about to come off cooldown. You could sack the Fist of Fury, but then you won't have sack for the leg sweep, which is more important to sack because leg sweep is a 6-second cooldown, while Fist of Fury is a 3-second cooldown. So you just need to know when exactly to use your abilities. Like, for example, mage, know when to poly. Like, do it when they're trying to set up their burst or their popping cooldowns, not just randomly because you can. Or again, as a Windwalker monk, know when to karma. Don't just throw it out there just because your healer got like 2-second stun by a lock stun. But this kind of goes into my next topic of learning what all the classes do. If you can, obviously you're not going to be able to learn exactly what everything does instantly. You're going to be able to learn over time as you go against them more, or as you read up about them. But the more you know about the other classes, the better you can prepare yourself to go against them. So once again, for an example, you're playing against a rogue mage. What does mage have? Mage has sheep. It's fire mage, so they have combust, which is their break burst, makes so all their abilities crit. You're a ret paladin playing ret hunter. So what do you have your hunter do during combust? Oh, hey, lets you sack on him, so now he can't crit and he doesn't get any procs. The rogue, he kidney vendettas you. The kidney, it increases all damage you take by 15%, and it also, vendetta makes it so I think it's like 30% damage increase, and it also resets their energy. So they're gonna have a lot of damage when they press vendetta. What should you do? Should you trinket wall parry? Do you think that's going to be enough to survive that situation? Is your healer going to be out of CC soon? Maybe, if then, sure. But if not, if your healer is just starting the first sheep and they don't have trinket or add up or anything like that, you're going to maybe want to bop or just let your bubble proc out. Then again, will your hunter be able to stop the resheep? If the mage does not, or will you or your hunter be able to stop the resheep? If then, you're going to either want to bop and cancel it instantly just so it gets rid of the kidney debuff and the vendetta, or maybe just let your bubble proc, which is, I guess, worst case scenario, because bubble has a longer cooldown than bop does. Bop is only a 3-minute cooldown, while bubble is 4.5. No, wait, is it 4.5 or 3.5? I really don't know. But whatever, it's 4. But whatever, that's irrelevant. So it's just knowing when to use their abilities. It's not always good to just throw in all of your defensives during their burst. Just sometimes it's better to use just one big defensive rather than throwing away all of your little cooldowns, so that you won't have any in their next setup. Even though they don't have burst, they can still kill you in it since you don't have your big ability and that you don't have all your small abilities. Just knowing what the classes do makes it so that you can prepare for them better, know when to use your abilities against them. Yeah, and it just helps you a lot in Arena. Obviously, you're not going to be able to learn all the classes immediately. It's going to be a process over time, but the more you play, the more you'll figure it out, the better you'll be. And then last up, this kind of goes into this also, is positioning. What positioning pretty much is knowing where you are relative to your teammates and the other team. So this can be more important. This can be incredibly important in some matchups and not really relevant in some other matchups. So say you're playing against a melee cleave and you're just duking it out in the middle. All you're pretty much going to want to focus on is being in a situation, being in a spot where your healer can heal you without being in a compromising position where they will be able to get CC'd or locked out or something like that. But then you're going against double caster. Against double caster, positioning is incredibly important. You're going to try to hit one target while not being in line of the other target, or trying to be in line of the healer to get CC without being in a situation where the other team can stop said attempt at CC. So for this, pretty much being able to know what the other classes do is really important, because then you can know where to position yourself, when to go run for line and stuff like that. But then you're going to also need to know the layout of every map. Every map is somewhat different from the others, but they're all simple. Blaze Edge, the Blaze is, I guess, the most complicated one because it has a top and a bottom. But yeah, Blaze Edge, there's on top of the bridge. There's 4 little pillars that you can line in, all very spread out from each other. There's a ramp to get up and down in the middle and the sides, and then there's the bottom, which has 2 other pillars plus the ramps which you can line with. So pretty much just knowing that. So you're against a Mage Lock, and Lock is running Chaos Bolt spec. Your healer gets sheeped. You're in the middle of the bridge and you're nowhere near the pillars. So what do? Just drop down so that you can't get just spam casted on. Just knowing the layouts of the maps makes it a lot easier to react to what the other team is doing also. Yeah, that's about it for that. I guess that's about it. I hope this helped you guys at all. I probably missed stuff or completely butchered other parts or something like that. So I'll probably be making more in-depth guides on specific things like positioning and stuff like that. So in smaller videos. So look forward to that, hopefully. Hope you guys enjoyed. This was Vampire. Peace.